Hi Aquarius, here is a general look at your solar chart for September 2014, and two heads are better than one this month in many instances, but you are still working hard at establishing yourself in a sort of long-term sense as well, probably consciously or unconsciously, but this is the time for it with Saturn right up at the top of your chart for such a long transit. That's been going on since October 2012 and is due to finish more or less at the end of the year, all but for the little tiny revisiting in 2015, but that's for another time. Cross the bridges when you come to them. So at the moment, you've got the sun in a quite a deep area of the chart. So you might be calculating, you might be weighing things up at the moment with the sun in the 8th house of your chart. I call it the gear shifting house because actually we weigh up, we hum and haw, we mull over property matters, financial matters, but they're joint assets, they're joint interests. You aren't, you don't have a completely free hand there, because you know you have to rely to some degree, whatever the degree is, upon another's ability, opinion, skill, contribution, support, okay? And actually, it looks like this month you will be getting the support, particularly, well, actually all month, but particularly after the first week. So until the 23rd, the sun is here, and really it's more of an instinctual area for you, and your instinct will generally tell you, be better placed in a way to tell you what to do. Although that mind of yours is always working and playing with this or that or the other scenario, because your sign is quite an experimental sign. From the very end of August into just the first week of September, so that's just the first couple of days, maybe 3 days into September, depending on your natal chart degrees. But from the very end of August into the first few days of September, there is a bit of a heavier energy around, and it's also swirling in quite a lot of ambiguity or uncertainty. So doubts can be coming in there, but also you feel as though you've got quite a lot on your plate, maybe, and you'll need to push through there. Maybe it's just a dip in energy. It might not be anything major. It is relatively brief as well. But there could be just a question of keeping the faith and pushing through, or pushing through with a certain amount of delicacy and sensitivity and even canniness, if you're listening to your gut feelings. And working through those with deciding, you know, who to speak to or what to do or how to, which direction to go in. And, or indeed a myriad of other things as well. Mercury is for nearly the whole month in actually quite an expansive area, and you relate to Mercury, the planet Mercury, really, really strongly, being an Aquarian. So Mercury is focusing on discussions with those maybe at a distance, putting the pieces of the puzzle together and needing to consult with someone or get somebody's experience or advice on something. Would be a good idea. Also, it means that there could be connections with those with knowledge in an academic, quite an academic environment, which suits you quite well in many ways, because I think a lot of Aquarians just enjoy using their minds. The intellect is quite strongly emphasized with Aquarius, even though it might be that you apply your intellect to problems or fields in life which are quite unusual and quite unorthodox, or on the fringe, or at the forefront, or through science and technology, you know. So anyway, Mercury is in this quite expansive area, which gives you a sort of a refreshing look at things, maybe helps you to see things through somebody else's eyes, because it's good to get the advice there. Some of you could be looking into what your rights are on something as well, and this area that Mercury is in emphasizes higher learning of all kinds, whether it's formal or informal. So you might be learning a lot, but you know, just by doing. It also emphasizes publications and anything to do with the internet, of course. So it's a very strong communications house, writing, communicating in whichever way, and beating the drum on something, putting the word out there, but also plucking, sourcing information from really good sources, reliable sources, but also, as I say, the support, the knowledge that you need. Be the guide or the guided, the informer or the informed with Mercury here. And then Venus is strong in her favorite place until nearly the end of the first week. And affairs of the heart are favored, or just friendships and bonding with others, getting to know others, that's all favored. And there's a throughput here, there's a flow going on here, and this Venus position, which has been there since about the middle of August, it gives a boost to your personal or professional relationships, and means generally that you are enjoying, you know, somebody else's company. And then from the 6th, Venus moves into a place where you can get deeper support, more, you know, just where you need it, you know, but also material support. You feel that, oh, okay, this is going to be all right, because I've actually done the figures, and with that little bit extra coming from wherever, or it might not be money, it might be a resource, or it might be a property. So buying, selling, renting, leasing comes into this area here for some of you. But whatever that is, you feel that the resource is there. The friendly ear is there, the arm around the shoulders is there, or something even more sizzly with Venus in this area of your solar chart. It could manifest as a relationship, whether it's a business one or a personal one that's just, you know, you're teaming up with another, and this is helping you out to achieve your will, to achieve something material in your life, but it's also supporting you emotionally. And with this transit here, some of you may feel, you know, softer, more touched, more like shifting into more commitment in a relationship, either, you know, with a monetary sort of foundation to it, property, or indeed it's a romantic type relationship, or it can be all three, I guess. However, having said that, try not to come to any sort of final decisions before mid-month. It's a little bit harder to evaluate because of the Neptunian influence, but also we've got some Pluto and some Uranus, your ruling planet, around on Venus. And even though, as I say again, as I'm often saying, trust your intuition, don't be too much in the head. And this is a time when, in general, over a long time now, you've had to be quite in your head on things. But just try to leave a final decision until after mid-month, or indeed it could be that after mid-month everything gets clearer because somebody else is making a final decision, you know, something out there over which you don't have the control. So if you can stretch it until after mid-month, that probably would be a better idea. And but not catastrophic if you can't. And then you could have these jitters, this nervousness going on around about the 11th and the 12th because of Pluto and Uranus. And there is somebody who is absolutely convinced of taking one standpoint or one course of action, and there is no way out of it. And you might feel coerced or you might feel imposed upon. However, it could be you, because actually these energies, these planetary weather patterns don't have an opinion, you know, about who they're affecting and how. But the general gist of it is that in this very short little time frame there, there can be somebody who is absolutely 100%, you know, signed up, committed to this or that or the other course or idea, and indeed maybe again it would be better for the dust to settle, to get a bit of space there, you know, a bit of mental space, and get things in proportion. What it's about, it could be about something to do with the career, it could be something to do with the certain goals you've set yourself to achieve, or it might be about something else completely. But in the second half of the month, you or somebody else is more likely to get things in proportion. Now the sun moves on the 23rd, and that's a much then there is space, you know, there's more which lifts the spirits. You're looking out further, you're getting the overview now. Finally, you're not so, you know, hemmed in emotionally maybe. And some of you will have itchy feet. Good time to travel, good time to get out of the routine box. Definitely put yourself in environments which are unusual. Just get on the bike or in the car, or, you know, put your feet on the ground and just go to somewhere different, or indeed sign up for something and learn something new. This is a good time to be making plans. And Mars is actually in the same area as Saturn, has been there over the whole of August. Now, Saturn has been at the top of your chart, as I say, challenging you to sort of reshape your outer image, your worldly image, change the way you're presenting yourself. And along the way, you're going to be coming up against blocks and obstacles in the form of authority figures, very likely. Blocks, they're coming from bosses or those in positions of power, like officials of various kind. Not every day, all day, but every now and again. And, you know, pivotal moves will be made, decisions will be made, whatever. It's like you thought that you were traveling along one road to achieve the master plan, or in the general direction of your life, sort of merrily bowling along, and then Saturn comes in there as of October 2012, and then it's not so easy. Then you find there can be moments where you have to really work a lot harder than maybe before. But on the other hand, Saturn is the building planet. Saturn wants to help you to build something new in that area there. So putting in the hours, dealing with the people, whoever they are. They might be employees, or they might be people you're working for. They don't necessarily have to be bosses or teachers. They can be also parental figures for some of you as well, actual parents. So whatever it is, you are creating by hook or by crook, consistently, inevitably, irrevocably, this new structure for yourself, this new outer worldly image. And look back 7 years, look back 14 years, because the Saturn transits go 2.5 years to a sign. So look back about 6.5, 7 years, 14 years. The whole cycle is about 29 years before it loops all the way around and comes back to where it started from. So it can be quite instructive if you look back and then you see what was going on then, you remember the pressures that you were under, and you saw what you decided and how you responded and what happened next. You Aquarians born near the beginning of the last decade, or the end of the second decade, or with 17 to 22 degrees rising, going to feel that energy the most this month. But I'm mentioning this, spending more time on it, because Mars is stirring it up, and Mars is a planet of decisions, taking action, making something happen. So Mars is actually the ruler of stirring it up, you know. So Mars is stirring up this sort of very slow, ongoing, plodding Saturn energy, and it's saying, you know, let's get on with something here. Let's make something happen, you know, because Mars is about, it's red, it's energy, it rules the head, it rules adrenaline, and it is the warrior planet. So keep your head, keep cool, don't be too hasty, especially if somebody's coming at you, roaring that energy at you, you know. But the two of them together, as a matter of fact, Mars and Saturn, means that you've got to work harder at getting organized, getting things organized, getting things in order in your life with the general direction that you want to be going in, realizing you can't, Rome wasn't built in a day, you just got to keep at it. Really that's all there is, because the two of them together, you know, one is like the spark plug and the other is like, what's the other like? The other would like be like the actual I'm just trying to think of a metaphor here. Saturn would be actually what's holding the spark, what's holding the energy within, like under the hood of the car, if we're talking about cars, that actually makes the whole thing roll forward, but the whole thing can't do it without the spark. So it is a little bit like the spark, you know, the heat that's in the engine. So Mars and Saturn can actually work quite well together if you get them both in balance. So Mars has been there over August, as I say, and is there until mid-September, and then moves and goes into the next area, which is away from where Saturn is. And then you can tend to be the initiator in projects which are quite progressive. You get this really progressive feel. This is a very good position for you from mid-month, from the 14th, because Mars will have gone into Aquarius's house in the wheel, not Aquarius's sign, but Aquarius's house. So that works really well for you. It connects you with the group mind, the internet, for many of you, the collective out there, you know, friends, associates, but also this general feeling of the ball rolling forwards. And you can have quite a lot to do on behalf of others, but others also will be pitching in and being there in an energetic kind of a way on your behalf as well. It's an energy that can be a little bit like a bucking bronco, though, so you kind of need to hang on sometimes. And once again, because Mars is very impatient, you need to kind of keep your cool there. But it's definitely time to get the ball rolling. And Jupiter will be opening the way to growth through your close personal relationships over the next 11 months. And you are going to be meeting and greeting and maybe getting quite close to some very, very interesting people. Their backgrounds are going to be instructive. Their knowledge is going to be grist to your mill. You will be fascinated and they will be fascinated with you. And some of you could meet, you know, that very, very special someone, but more on that later. And you Aquarians born in the middle 10 days or with 9 to 16 degrees rising are going to feel that energy the most. And that's it for September. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those. It'll sort of expand on what I've said here, or indeed sort of put a different sort of tone on it. And I'll see you the next time.